Welcome to Ask the Animals Productions. The video you're about to see is a single chapter taken from our DVD, Without This Animal, You Will Die. Now this is a very important subject because it deals with something that affects every single one of us. Are there animals that God has created that make it possible for us to live? And if so, which ones? We hope you find this useful, but remember, there's a lot more available on the DVD itself.
When we look at nature, what do we see? Is nature a simple display of a few basic components that are all alike? Or is nature found to be far more complex than we ever dreamed possible? When God created the universe, He made a construction that we can only begin to comprehend with our limited knowledge. So perhaps we can focus on the earth to try to understand one small speck of creation. When previous generations tried to comprehend our world, they found such intricacies that they often resorted to superstition to explain the mysteries. Modern science has delved deeply into the lives of plants and animals and the ways they interact. But instead of reaching the end of the mysteries, science has only uncovered new questions that lead to even more mysteries. In fact, science is as far from solving the intricacies of nature now as it was centuries ago. God made life more interlocked than seems possible. Plants and animals and the world that supports them are meshed together in a web of interactions. We have found that every form of life is dependent on another form. If we pluck one thread of life, we find it attached to the rest of creation. Plants require both animals and other plants. Animals require both plants and other animals. Both plants and animals require the minerals, gases, and weather that the planet provides. And we have found the same is true of us. Humans are more dependent than we realize on the complex interactions of all life around us. Often we assume that we are so advanced in technology and civilization that we are now immune to what happens in nature. But with each new discovery and each new interaction found, we find that we actually depend on a great many other forms of life for our own existence. Rather than being impregnably secure, humans are actually on a knife edge of survival, relying on a host of other organisms for our very existence. This is no surprise, as God has created all life to be dependent on other life. So what are the interactions that we need to survive? Is it really true that without a particular animal we would die? And if so, which ones? We would be well advised to discover and protect the animals we need to keep us alive. In this program, we will examine those processes God established on Earth that maintain human life and the individual animals that make those processes work. We might be surprised which are the most important animals to our survival. Of course, everything we see today on Earth is God's backup plan. The perfect world of Eden was a very different place than what we see now. No death, disease, danger, or competition existed. When sin began, almost every aspect of life had to change. God had to totally remake His original creation. Without drastic intervention, life on Earth would likely have ceased to exist. So we should remember that the nature we study today is not God's original plan, but rather His temporary way of dealing with the curse of sin.